Welcome to the Best Schools TV, where education meets the truth, power, and the voices that shape our future.
Today, we uncover the drama rocking one of Kenya's biggest unions.
Why are the courtrooms now part of the union meetings?
Who is rewriting the rules and who is being locked out of the room?
This isn't just union politics. It's about the future leadership, teacher representation, and the 2026 union elections.
By the end of this episode, you'll know what's happening behind the scenes and why it really matters for every teacher, student, parent, or any educationist in this country.
So, stay with us, because what is at stake? It's bigger than you think. So, what is that has pushed you to wanting to serve teachers?
Yes, and as you talk about that,
Yes.
kulikuwa na kang'ata wa mabarua.
And by then I look like
the governor Muranga.
the governor Muranga.
Yes.
Kang'ata wa mabarua.
Kuna Rithaa wa barua.
As you tell us that, ingawa kujeni kidogo. The show haijaenda break. Ni kang'ata wa mabarua, si ndio?
Yes.
Na kuna Rithaa wa maji.
It is not about attacking.
Exactly, it's my point.
Yes.
We're not doing propaganda.
No.
We're not attacking anybody.
Yeah.
It's just getting pure information. I think that's
Yes.
what we teachers require
Yes.
as we gear up to the 2026 elections.
Somebody will say, making a joke out of it and say that we have nyumba za dhahabu mbinguni.
So tunaita wale watu wanaenda nyuma ya
tent.
manyoks.
And then our shows are not curated in any way, so that's why they are free and they are long. Persevere to watch our show, because I think it's quite informative. We are opening this seat for all the aspirants.
Yeah.
Wherever you are, this is your seat. This is your season. We want you to come here and tell teachers, what is it that you want to do for them in the union?
Na hiyo kiti ni moto.
Hiyo kitu ni moto manze. Siasa zilianza in 2024.
Immediately after
The other election.
Eh.
Actually zikaanza kutamba. 2024 zikashika moto. Sasa ziko almost at the peak.
Yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, today we bring to you Benson Rithaa, vying for the executive secretary, Tharaka Nithi branch. And Benson,
Yes.
manze, welcome to the show. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
That's a wonderful. Na pia tuko na director mwenyewe.
Yes.
Mambo moto.
Yes.
So Benson,
Who is Benson?
Wow. That's it's a question that you can answer in very many ways. Because Benson was born in Tharaka Nithi, particularly Chuka. I was born in a place called Rokendo.
the prestigious Rokendo.
The prestige. That was the first place. The first place in Chuka kupewa stima. Yeah. Na barabara kuwekwa maram. So it is a prestigious place, like you say. I grew up there. I attended my primary school at Katigiri Primary School up to standard 8. So after that, I went to Mokowon secondary school, and I can say that was not my wish. But later on, I realized that God has a plan. Because were it not that I went to Mukoni, I could not be the Rithaa I am today.
And by the way, Mukoni in our sector, Mukoni is a mighty school.
Yes.
Yeah, they do great things.
Why I'm saying this is because you can see now from the background, from your grandfather,
Yeah.
you can be sure that payment of the school fees was a big problem. So my choices were big schools, like Koboi, Chaworia. So yeah, so I'm finding that I could not have made it through there because nobody would have realized who is this. You see, in Mukoni that time, I came out very well that I am a bright boy. So teachers would identify me and they would nurture you towards that goal that they want one of their own to go to the university.
Sure.
And I was also able to finish and to complete the Form 4 class, even with some huge balance, which I
They
paid
held
later.
you at school.
They held me at school. So that's why I'm saying, if I had gone somewhere else,
It would have been difficult.
it would have been difficult. And that actually comes to a question that the director here had asked earlier, outside the show, if I chose to be a teacher. And I told him, yes, I chose to be a teacher because somebody mentored me. The likes of, we called her Miss Kaura. She was my chemistry teacher. Actually, she mentored me to be a chemistry teacher because I am a chemistry teacher up to now.
Awesome.
Yeah, Miss Kaura.
That's why you're very affirmative. You chose to be a teacher.
Yes.
Okay.
She's currently principal Makori House. I'm proud of her. So after Mukoni, I went to Maseno University. Now the bad thing, the course that I was admitted to was environmental science. This guy wanted to be a teacher. But now this is environmental.
Mentored by teachers.
Yes.
Feels he wants to be a teacher.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unasikia kuna watu waliamua kuanzia from the ground walitaka kuwa tu walimu.
Yeah.
How many of you are teachers and really wanted to be teachers?
Yes.
Drop your comment to one.
Mimi sitaongea.
You really wanted to be a teacher.
Yeah, because you can see, were it not for them, huwa tunasema ungekuwa unatega minyororo huko kwa vijiji. So at Maseno, after 1-2 lectures with environmental studies science class, no, I was not comfortable. Then I chose education science, chemistry and biology.
So Rithaa is a teacher. Rithaa now has become a teacher from Maseno.
Yes.
And today you are still a teacher.
Exactly.
Take us through your journey as a teacher.
After graduation, I was given a chance to teach at Magenka secondary school as a BOM teacher also.
Yeah.
The principal then was Mr. Muredi.
Really
The current chief of staff
at the county
Yeah.
government.
Yes. So he gave me that chance. Actually, a friend of mine called Sami Muti is the one who talked with the principal then, and I was called.
The Sami, I know.
Yes.
Okay.
You're very good at names.
Yeah, you recognize people.
Sami.
Yes.
Mwalimu ambaye alikataa kuwa mwalimu. Tutamleta kwa show atupe hiyo maneno.
Yes. So he's the one who linked me with the principal. I was given a chance. So at Magenka, TSC advertised post. And I was lucky to get a chance at Makawani, at Kilangani.
Yeah.
So I taught at Makawani up to 2018 when I got a transfer to Chakariga House, where I'm teaching up to today. I'm a teacher of chemistry and biology at Chakariga, HOD Games, and a member of the sub-county games committee. I'm also a coach. I coach lawn tennis. Yes.
So he may not say, but his stay at Siakariga has made Siakariga to shine in the county.
hata si hivyo. Mimi nikisikia Rithaa mara ya kwanza, I never thought he was from this side of Chuka, because nasikianga Rithaa wa Chiakariga.
Chiakariga.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I always thought that you come from.
And one principal, Mrs. Simuli, was also very supportive, because we would introduce a game. You can see like introduction of a new game like lawn tennis, from the conventional games that we know.
Yeah.
Hockey.
Hockey.
When you left the county, you were the only person playing hockey at Chogoria.
Mimi ndio nilikuwa na shine.
Then I came with the hockey.
Chogoria girls.
Today the championship, first term championship, is a tricky one. Because Chiakariga has a wonderful hockey.
Chogoria nilikuwa naenda regionals.
Because you are alone.
So
Now
it is that you are staying now that we have lawn tennis and we have hockey
and rugby.
and rugby.
Yes.
And without saying, it's also, this is for us.
Yes.
Chiakariga has shined severally at the nationals in film.
Yes. Yeah, film.
During that time, the same time.
Film.
So Chiakariga is a school that we should do a show,
Yeah.
because they have good things to show.
Exactly.
They need a documentary. Mark that.
Uliza swali, because I have a follow-up question.
Now, you see, Rithaa has told us how he became a teacher through passion.
Yes.
His journey, he was still at Chiakariga right now, and now he's at Chiakariga. And he feels that he needs to serve teachers in the capacity of executive secretary of the union branch. What is that inspired you? And of course, one we have seen, you are a passionate teacher. So what is that has pushed you to wanting to serve teachers?
Yes, and as you talk about that,
Yes.
kulikuwa na Kang'ata wa mabarua.
And by then I look like
The governor Muranga.
the governor Muranga.
Yes.
Kang'ata wa mabarua.
Kuna Rithaa wa barua.
As you tell us that, naigawa mjeni kidogo. The show haijaenda break. Ni Kang'ata wa mabarua. Sindio?
Yes.
Na kuna Rithaa wa maji.
Na pia barua. Ameandika barua kadhaa.
So as you give us your inspiration to serve teachers.
Yes.
Because it's now that you're telling us you want to serve teachers.
Yes.
Ulianza na barua, ikakuja kwa maji. I don't know, so many teachers, those who do activities and those who go for meetings, most of us have taken your water. And so as you tell us what inspired you, tell us about the letters, tell us about the water, twende tukienda.
Wow. You see now, as a teacher, you have to belong to a union. And now this is high school.
Yeah.
So you belong to KUPPET, because it is Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers. That time, forms were being circulated where you fill your details, and then they were taken to Nairobi. Then you start paying the union dues. This issue of the CBA was not there. It has come after 2017. So we were introduced by some leaders back then in the union through filling the forms.
Yeah.
Now, 2011 is when we ended the first kind of union elections. We were a bit young that time in the profession. So sisi ndio tulikuwa ma Gen Z that time. So hata Gen Z huwa wanazeeka.
Gen Z mnasikia? Hata nyinyi mtazeeka tu. Tutakuwa zae kama sisi.
That is it. So I was one of those Gen Zs that time. So
really Gen Z.
Yeah.
This is the current Gen Z.
Yeah. So we never knew much about the union. We filled the form, yes, we are members of the union, but much about the union we didn't know. Now elections have come. We are not being told, those who are young, we are not being told nini inaendelea in this union. If you are a clever person, you embark on doing background research. So after the elections is when now I started, because I was involved in that campaign as a Gen Z that time now. I was involved very much. I realized still there were leadership gaps with the leadership that we got. So when time came for another election in 2016, I was involved again more actively now because I understood what is the union. The union, it's about advocacy. The primary, we could now go into the politics of the union because we are already now acquainted with what is this union. But there's something teachers don't know. Teachers trust very fast. They are good at trusting. And when they trust you, they have no issues. They will not run after you. They only want things to be done
the right way.
The right way. So after 2016, when now those who are in the union realize that we are getting old. Circular is out, Employment Act, that in Kenya you retire at 60 years. Now it is being enacted. Tumefanya elections of the union 2016. Now this is the circular. I'm sure that is what called for the union to do what now they did, like colonialists, to change the constitution which was written in 2012. So what happened is that when they realized
you have said the officials have realized that they are growing old.
They are growing old.
Yes.
So they have to go. So you see, the bit that I said, teachers are trusting. Without the knowledge of the teachers now, the officials changed the constitution 2012, where now they introduced the clause of retirement age from 60 to 65 years. And they put there mandatory age, retirement age shall be 65 years, meaning immediately.
By the way,
yes.
Does it say that mandatory retirement is 65
for the union official,
or it puts an age limit?
I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that. You see, it was also amended now 2024.
Yes.
Where they removed the word mandatory and they said shall. You can see those are two different things.
Yeah.
So 2024, they have amended.
Oh, it was mandatory.
It was mandatory 2017.
Before 2024.
Yes. Yeah. The retirement age, the mandatory age was 60, 65. You see now, they have put it there to cushion them because already they have. You see, teachers don't know. So teachers know that the director here is retiring. So you just exit stage.
Yeah.
But behind the scene, director amebandilisha. So when you go to tell him tuondoke,
waiting for you to
anatoa constitution anakuwekea kwa meza anakwambia print for yourself.
Unajua hiyo shall tulikuwa tunatumia kwa maandamano. People shall exercise.
Yes.
their power.
Yes.
So,
What's a karata?
so you can see now, teachers never knew that it was
Out of trust.
Out of trust. They trusted these guys. So these guys will go behind the scene and
Change
everything. They also changed. You see, some of them were also elected in 2017 as
2016.
2017 election. The national election.
Oh, not the national
The
election.
national election. After they were elected in 2016, they contested for the national seats in the conventional, that is MCA, parliamentary, and the presidential elections. And several got elected as MPs and women rep. You see, those are state officers. So they also changed because you see, the constitution,
The national constitution.
the national
Kenyan
constitution,
constitution.
2010, you cannot draw two salaries.
Yeah.
So they were also very crafty. When they were changing the age limit, they also changed that constitution 2012, where now they put a clause where that you can be a state officer as well as
Union
a
official.
union official. But full-time state officer, part-time union official.
Unauliza walimu shida yenu ni gani? Unakubali hizi vitu tu.
Zilipita bila sisi kujua.
No,
But you are amazing. Why are they doing this? Why are they doing this?
So hapo kwa union na hapo kwa
But kwa union, ako part-time.
part-time.
Kwa state officer work as a MP ni full-time. And you can see, as a unionist, you are going to table your grievances to the state officer. So ni wewe unajiangalia hivi, alafu unarudi unajiangalia hivi. Because if you are the unionist and you are the MP,
and we want our issues to be heard by parliament.
and you are the parliament.
The one in parliament.
Yes.
Is that
For
tricky?
lack of another word, that's greed.
Eh?
That's greed.
You can see, and teachers never knew about these things. Do you know what happens? The union officials are elected in a special delegate conference. They also changed a clause. You see, there were 10 delegates per county. So they also went ahead and changed the clause for the NDC, the National Delegate Conference, and inserted that the national union officials can be elected through a special delegate conference, which has a quorum of a third from every county. So apparently it means from the counties, we have the chairman, the executive secretary, and probably the treasurer. Or the executive secretary will choose those that two others, because 3 is a random. You can see they were now trying to look for a way of how to manipulate
the
election of the national
governing
council. Because if they are coming as 10 delegates, you will not be able to convince all of them.
Yeah.
But 3,
It
is easy. Because I want to talk with the executive secretary, for example, and you give me 2 more. Then I'm elected.
This is very eye-opening.
Eye-opening. Now it gets to where now I was thinking, and I was telling you about. I think this is the next show where we shall look at these court battles in because KUPPET has been in and out of courts because of several amendments of the constitution, and there are rulings that are there, and they could affect the 2026 election. So please keep it to our show, because we are going to bring to you this analysis, and I think he has some good information about it.
Now, very informed.
Yes. I think do we continue with that, or does he go to
no, let us continue so that teachers
it's getting hotter.
Yes.
It's getting hotter. Okay. Take us through that.
So you can see,
I think you're taking us to the letters, eh? He's taking us to the letter.
I think
he's laying foundation for the letter. Proceed.
So you can see already walimu wamechezwa.
Yes.
And they don't know. By 2021, executive secretaries and many branch governing council officials across the country, in the counties, many of them were that close to the retirement age, but pale national wameshapita the age limit. So that is when now, when they came back to us, kama umebakisha mwaka moja to 60 years, unajua umeficha kandi ya 65, walimu hawajui. So you just tell them that unataka more? I want to serve this last chance. And teachers, as trusting as they are, they give you.
Shida ni walimu.
You see now?
That speech, that's the last speech from that doctor that he gave us a story from China. Is Dr.
Gishore.
Dr. Gishore said that the Chinese told it's not the African leaders who are the problem, it's the Africans.
The electorates.
Yeah.
So it is not the leaders of KUPPET who are problem.
They are too trusting. 2021 has come. Now you expect them to exit stage so that new leadership comes, and that is when now they come now with the card that, you know, I'm still eligible for the re-election, at least up to 65 years. Now you see, teachers and not prepared for an election because they thought sisi ndio tutaenda pale tunganganie upite uwe. So you are caught off guard. You have not campaigned, you have not done that. The incumbents, and then many have retired. What they did now is to ask the national office, you can see this now, the sequence of events, we have covered you. Because now they are the ones to go there and elect them now. We have covered you. How now are we going to exit stage even after 65 years? That calls for the Constitutional Amendments 2024, where now they remove the word mandatory and to shall, where even after 65 you still remain as a union official. You can even.
That's where my question was.
Yes.
Right now, as the Constitution is,
yes,
we look at it, and kindly also teachers, you have heard it's our problem, so also look at it.
Yeah.
Is it that to be eligible to vie, I have to be at least 65 and below?
With the removal of the mandatory?
Now you cannot retire at 65.
No, it is.
At 64, I vie.
Yes.
And I proceed all the way to 70.
Precisely.
Oh my God.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I get the point.
You can see now where we are as teachers, where we have been plunged.
Is that where barua zilianza?
Hapo ndio barua zilianza.
Barua hazikuanza hapo. 2018, you see, we were brought into a medical scheme, AON. Now, the problem with the AON that time is that you get sick like today, assume today is on a Saturday, today, for instance. Once you get treated in that facility, you can only go back to hospital after 7
days.
Not even your child, not even your spouse, all your beneficiaries can only go to hospital after 7 days. Now, who says when you...
mwezi gonjeka mkifuatana.
Ilikuwa inasema, if you think sickness is coming, please don't invite it. Yambie ipost mpaka 7 days ziishe.
Yeah, or if you get sick, 2 of you, one will be.
The other one will have to wait for 7 days.
Assume now is a mother who is sick and the child. So as a mother, you only forego your treatment. You let the child get treated. And the danger in it, you see, that is motherly love. The danger in it is that the mother is the contributor, for example, the principal contributor. You are left sick and the child is treated. What if you die? What will happen of this child? So that is what.
So now, Minette or Rion is telling you, you are the contributor. Let your child be treated.
It is you to choose.
You go look for treatment elsewhere and pay. Yet you are contributing for the scheme.
Now, the 7 days we do. And so that is when now I petitioned the parliament.
That was your first letter.
Yes. Now coming to the letter. It was in August 2018. And I don't know whether some guys somewhere got rid of it because they also wrote their letter in October.
Yours went in August.
Mine went in August. And you see now, if they got rid of it and they sent theirs, I think because of the letterhead, it got more attention. And it was debated. And I think that is the time now, the 7 days window was removed. So I feel that I saw those leadership gaps, but there was still no chance for you to lead. After 2021, the government introduced housing levy, and they took it round for public participation, which was shortly done. That is why now many people never had a chance to contribute about it. And that is why now some activists, when they went to court, they were told, the government were told that they have to repeat the public participation. So I was against the housing levy.
Who was it? Everybody was.
And you see now the problem is you are against it, but you are not saying. So I had the courage to write to the parliament, because now they were asking for our opinions. So I wrote to the parliament and I told them several things, that where one of them is that teachers are overtaxed, because there was the provident fund, there is the pay, there is the NSSF thing, and the NHIF. I think so. You realize that much of your salary is going to these taxes, and now they are introducing another levy here that surely they're calling it housing levy. Somebody somewhere told me that, do we really need these houses? Because it was not well it was not well explained to us. So somebody was saying, tuko na nyumba za dhahabu.
Nani ana kwao?
Somebody was saying, making a joke out of it and say that we have nyumba za dhahabu mbinguni. So we have our golden houses in heaven. We don't need this. So that was one of my points. Secondly, I also raised the point that teachers end overstayed without any substantial salary increment. So I argue that we are not just against the levy, but at least do something so that you get something to milk, to deduct. And I was called to Parliament. I was invited. I was told to produce 20 copies of my documents. I sat in that panel. Yeah,
so you appear at your expense.
Yes.
To
go and do some loans work for the teachers.
The teachers and for Kenyans.
So I went to Parliament and they listened to me. It was not simple because I find that it's like they had already made their mind.
They had made their mind. They were not listening.
They were not listening. Actually,
they were greedy. I can remember you were greedy.
It was
greedy,
cruel grilling until I thank one of the MPs, John Ariko MP. Is the one who came to save me. Told the panelists that now you are very hard on this teacher who has come to represent Kenyan teachers, while we have a union which should be representing teachers, and they have not come into this panel on behalf of the teachers. And I as clever person, I interjected and I told them, that union you are talking about, yesterday they were State House. And they asked me doing what? I told them probably they were taking some juice over the same. But now you see, State House is the one bringing this levy, and now you are sitting with them. It means you are in agreement.
That's why I'm here.
That's why I'm here now, because this is why it matters. It is you who is scrutinizing the whole thing. So I brought myself on behalf of the Kenyan teachers, and specifically the Tharaka Nithi teachers. They listened. One of them asked me, what do you think should be done? I told them from my letter, you can see. Because there was a letter and there was the document now where you are defending your letter. It was a 20-page document. So I told them from the letter you can see, I'm requesting that at least do some salary adjustment upwards for the teachers. At least if you have to deduct, there is something. Because even that upward increment will come with increment even in pay. So you can see you increase the pay. Nabando utakata the housing levy. I'm very proud
to cushion the teacher.
Yeah, to cushion the teacher. So I'm very proud about it because after some time, I don't know what informed the president of Kenya, because he announced some pay rise for teachers, which was to be spread within 2 years. And the union was very mad about it. Because they have not negotiated. They want to say that every benefit that the teacher gets must come through
the union.
And I find it as a gift from the president of Kenya to the teachers. At least. Me, I'm proud because even my letter was capturing it.
By the way, these are things that you can provide so that we can share with the teachers.
Yes. Thank you. And it is in public domain that it is the president who announced. Even the union was not aware. And that is why the union was against it. You remember, we had to take some 2 months so that the SRC and the union can see it and the TSC isn't it? Because now the union feels that it is the one that should agitate for that increment. But to me, it was a gift from the president.
Because it came through, it was in your letter.
It was in my letter.
Whether it is the one that informed,
I don't know.
You presented.
I presented.
Before. Congratulations.
Thank you. Now, come to 2024, the union was actually pushing it to be within a CB so that...
To be placed in the CB.
Yeah. You see, it will also capture some increment in the union dues. Yeah, because it is a CBA. But now you can see the president can withdraw because it was a what?
A gift.
So technically it was withdrawn. we were not given the...
In the budget, it was not captured.
It was not captured.
Remember, that's basically why we went for the strike.
Yes. So teachers were very mad, and we were up in arms, not against the government, but against the union, which is not advising teachers accordingly. Why are you not pushing the government to pay what they promised? But who are teachers? They pushed until the union gave in and called for a strike. But unfortunately, the strike was called off when teachers were really hyped.
And we talked about that there was an anti-climax.
It is in our channel, you can see that.
Yes.
Because we were all set.
We were all set. When you have just bought a new vuvuzela.
Before you go to the next letter, I think there's a claim that you never appeared for maandamano.
Did
you not appear?
Were you in line with the government that it was their gift and they have withdrawn, so you didn't see any reason to strike or what?
No. You see, I had asked for that increment in my letter.
Yes.
So if we were not, when we were not given, I was actually for us to go for that strike, so that we agitated for it. But something came up. I was given a chance to go as an official. I'm a handball referee to East Africa, James, Uganda. We were in a place called Bukedia district. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So I was one of the handball officials. The timelines of the strike were coinciding with our stay in Uganda. So by the time I was arriving in Kenya, and specifically in Tharaka Nithi, the strike is being called off
in the evening.
When you have already bought your vuvuzela and you're ready for the tomorrow's maandamano. So basically I was not present. Not that I was no. How can I fear when I have done all that against all the odds?
Tunaita wale watu wanaenda nyuma ya
tent.
Manyoks.
Not true. Because I started the process. I've been part of the process. The only thing that you see, you could even demonstrate when you were in Kenya. I saw teachers demonstrating in Mombasa, some from Tharaka Nithi, and they were posting pictures. But how do you demonstrate while you're in Uganda?
They will see a funny fella.
Even Ugandans will be wondering, what is this fellow doing here? You see? So that's why I was not in it.
Maybe you should have done it on TikTok and maybe in evidence enough. But you see, we shall show you how to do TikTok.
Probably, because not all of us who are techno-savvy. Yeah. This one was actually like a press release on the eve of 2024 annual Directorate Conference Vihiga. Yes, where I was calling upon the delegates to go and refuse to ratify the constitutional amendments because I was feeling they were draconian, they were colonial. It was a kind of impunity, the classroom teachers, because of several reasons. So that was
a call to the delegates.
Yeah, so it was a call to the delegates. But when they went there, you see, it is in public domain that things were done the wrong way.
And there was an appeal that was done in court. Are you part of it now that you had written a letter?
Before we come to that appeal, when they passed the constitution, one of the things that was there was that from a classroom, you cannot vie as the executive secretary, you cannot vie as a treasurer or a chairman. The reason being that you have not served in the BEC for at least 5 years previously.
What?
That was discriminatory, and it is against
even the Kenyan Constitution.
The Kenyan Constitution, 2010. I felt personally like now it was time for me to show leadership, but these guys have gone ahead and now they have cut me discriminatively from that process by saying now I should have been a member of BEC for at least 5 years previously. Now, I said, what is this? This cannot go on. I knew a friend of mine who is actually vying as executive secretary in Murang'a. It's called Thomas Wawero. Through my postings in social media, a guy in Ikisi called Achuti called me, told me, hey, Bwana, you are very active against this thing. How are we going to do it? I told him I'm thinking of something like a press conference. So he gave me a contact of another person who I came to learn is an aspiring executive secretary, Kirifi, Jairus Kipkoech. So I called Jairus. And Jairus agreed that the three of us have a press conference. But you see now, a press conference, you need a backup.
Yeah.
So we made our WhatsApp group. We started now looking for aspiring executive secretaries in those other counties. So we got 7, and on that year, December, we did our press conference, and it went viral. Then we also called for teachers to write letters to RTU, Registrar of Trade Unions. So the time that the union went to deposit the constitution to the Registrar of Trade Union, there were so many emails against the same. So the registrar has some options. One is an advisory, the other one is to refuse or even to give it a go ahead. So the registrar gave an advisory that specifically a section that was barring teachers against the
unconstitutional.
It was discriminatory. So that advisory, we withdrew the proposed amendment. So they went back, they removed that clause, but the other clauses remained. One of them, very punitive clause that remained, that personally now I am against it, and I'm in court also, is the clause about the increment on the union nomination fee. As an executive secretary, you pay up from 50,000 to 200,000. You see, I don't know what percentage is that. With the Hand Economic Times, this is the union that should be agitating for the welfare and good welfare of a teacher. You are discriminating a teacher from the class, and also to have a share of leadership, good leadership, because they know that teachers don't have this money. Other positions from 10,000 to 50,000. Chairmanship from that 1,000 to 100,000. So you see, even the margin of increment.
Yeah, it's more than double.
It's illogical.
It's illogical.
You've gone to court.
Yeah, we are in court. Not me alone. Yeah. So particularly on that clause. Any other clause? Some clauses were good because, like, when we're increasing the representation, like in gender case.
That was in order?
Yeah, that is in order. You see?
The JSS.
You see, the junior teachers should be also incorporated and represented in the union.
Of course, the one for people with different abilities.
Yes. And now, on the JSS, the junior school teachers, another punitive clause. They put there that a junior teacher should have been a member of a union for 1 year.
And these guys are just being employed.
They are getting employed. Their pay probably will come from February. And there's a clause in the union constitution that the union elections should take place at the national level the second week of December. If we go by that, you can see this guy who is getting pay from February to, let's say, the other union elections take place from not February. If you go by that, by the second week of December, it means the elections can be pushed back from September. Because the national officials should be elected by the second week of December. Are you see now?
Yeah.
So, these young teachers in junior school will not have completed their 1 year mandatory period in the union. So that advisory again was given and it was withdrawn. That's why now they retained the 2012 constitution where that clause said that to be a member of the union and to contest, you need to be a member of the active member 13 weeks. So at least it was a relief. But I was asking myself, look at the president. The IEBC cost the president 200,000.
Yeah.
A presidential candidate, the whole of Kenya. Then a guy like me in Tharaka Nithi, a very small county, I'm paying the equivalent of a presidential
at the national
Yeah, doesn't make sense.
Very
Doesn't.
discriminatory.
Very discriminatory. Again, you cannot vie at the national office because you have to relinquish this one after you get elected, and you pay exorbitant fee of 500,000, for example, at the national office. So you paid 200,000. You want to vie at the national. You have
to resign first.
to resign this. Then you pay 500,000. That is 700,000.
So the bait of finances has been put there to deter
To bar.
people from vying.
That's why we are using the word discriminatory.
You guys are the national.
Lord,
You guys are the national office.
lakini shida ni nani?
Shida ni nani? Shida ni sisi walimu.
But you see, mwalimu wa sasa amerevuka.
Yeah.
Let's get to it. Shida ni sisi walimu.
Yes.
Yesterday you had your manifesto launch.
Yes.
Talking of the manifesto launch,
Yeah.
why do you think you should be given this opportunity?
Correct. Tunataka kukupea like an airtime for 10 minutes. Ambia mwalimu, what is your manifesto? Why do you think you want this?
Actually, thank you very much for that. It was one of its kind. First launch for a union post. I started to see gaps back then, and I was feeling that the teachers are actually not getting the right information about the union. So specifically, I said, if I am presenting myself as a leader, let me first show teachers exactly what I want to do for them as a leader. So we called it manifesto. Manifesto launch. What called for it is so that teachers can understand exactly what is it. In that manifesto, we have several things. If I may sum it up, we have like 10 points. One of them, number one, is about the union constitution. We must tell teachers the truth about the union constitution. You can see how it has been mutilated. The 2012 constitution, which was in line with the 2010 constitution, Kenya Constitution 2010, has been mutilated by 2017 amendments and more mutilations by 2024 mutilations. So you must show teachers that you are abide with, and I'm calling it legally registered constitution, so that you don't have to come and do your kangaroo things. You must follow the law, and the law is the constitution. A legal constitution must be in line with the supreme law of the country. That's why I'm in court challenging the nomination fees, because it is not in line with the Kenya Constitution on the discriminatory part. No. So I must demonstrate to teachers that the registered constitution, I will follow to the letter. Secondly, after election 2021, the union introduced Barrio Benevolent Fund. It is a welfare fund. Like in Tharaka Nithi, majority of teachers are paying 200 shillings. So you can see this is not hospital fund. Barrio Benevolent Fund. My second point was that we must explain exactly what is this BPF, because when you go and you are in hospital, it is not the BPF money that should be brought to you as a pole. This money is for barriers, and that's why from the national guidelines we have the caps, the minimum and the maximum. If you are the principal contributor and you are paying 200 shillings and you go, your family is given between 40,000 and 60,000. That's the guideline from the National Welfare Council. So if it is your spouse, between 40,000 and 60,000. If it is a biological child, around between 20 and 40,000. Biological parent, between 20 and 30,000. This is where I have a problem. Teachers are not being told that this is barrier money. It is not hospital money, because even in the union dues, there is, after the payment of the executive secretary and the other payments, there is some 5% that should go to emergency. That is the money that is usually called Uguapole. So you can see they are getting BBF money and paying Uguapole, and Uguapole money is still coming with the union dues. Where does this money go? There is some money getting lost somewhere, and teachers cannot see that. This BBF, you're being given 5,000, and the cap is between 40 and 60,000. Between 20 and 40,000, between 20 and 30,000. Now somebody is giving you 5,000. Assume you are supposed to get the minimum. This person is stealing from you how much? 35,000. And another person who has not read the rules will come and tell teachers that I will add this money to about 10,000. That's why I had to call teachers and explain to them. This BBF should have its independent committee without the influence of the executive secretary or the financial committee, because we have the BBF and the financial committee. So you realize that members don't know the difference. The other thing is that we must define how you are eligible. That's why I was very happy when I was invited to Mwalimu Sacco Education Day. And I was telling them that we need to come to you because you are the originators of this thing called BBF, and you run it so well. We need to come and benchmark from Mwalimu National. How do you run it? And I let you in the mingi, like we are having it in the union. Then we need also that committee to give financial documents, not where you are in annual general meeting and somebody is there with a big file that you don't know what it is contains. And our somea tu minutes labda ni za murandi ya maji, unaambiwa ni BBF. So we need transparency in that whole thing, isn't it?
Yeah. So the other item of your manifesto,
there is also financial prudence and transparency, where now in the union, as the executive secretary, you must make sure that there is a functional finance committee. It is not, you see, many areas we are being told the executive secretary anakula pesa. Atakula pesa namna gani when there is a treasurer and there is a financial committee? He oversees that, but how do you overturn the decision of several people who are the BEC members, isn't it? So it is either they're eating all of them,
or there's something they are not telling us.
Or there's something they are not telling us.
That's correct.
Yes. That's why I'm saying we need...
If there's a financial committee,
yes,
that is deciding on how finances are going to be managed, and of course follow the due process, then there's something they are not telling us.
There's something they are not telling. Yeah.
So
specifically
in your manifesto, you've said you want to ensure that there is financial prudence,
yes,
and transparency,
for financial
so that members can understand how the finances are being used.
Now, there is also the vastness of our county. We are coming from far span areas. So I felt that this union money is enough to have a satellite office, one at Marimanti to cater for the Tharaka region, so such that some things can be handled down there, so that by the time they get into the main office, it is already well discussed. Yeah. Like that BBFD. Mara people should have there a mini office, so that some things are discussed there. That way, you have decentralized.
Sorry for cutting you. Jana nilisikia during the manifesto launch, kuna walimu wa North. Sikuwa najua walimu wa North. Na walikuwa wanasema walimu wa North kama wamesahau.
Wametengwa sana.
Yeah.
Yes.
Walimu wa North.
Yeah, you see. No.
Ayu, mwalimu wa North. Ayu kujita mwalimu wa North.
Yeah.
It's the extreme.
Nilidhani ni distant.
No.
You see
the extreme part of Tharaka Nithi.
Yeah, the extreme. So what you find is that they feel that when they are coming to Chuka, that is when now they are coming to KUPPET.
Mm-hmm.
So we need a functional office close to these teachers, so that they feel that they own the union.
Mm-hmm.
The same case with Mara. Chuka, we have a functional office already.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, I felt that everyone would feel included.
Now, I need to ask you a question. He has said that he wants to do satellite offices. I know the next item of the manifesto, or your manifesto, is on the website, and getting communication up through SSD.
Yes.
Are they not conflicting that you want to do satellite so that you're able to reach out the teacher?
Yes.
And now you're also talking about doing a website.
Yes.
Why not go with one, so that maybe you can reduce on the costs?
I don't think
what advice is that you are going to put up an online platform for the branch, and you're also going to do physical satellites.
What advice is that? There is an issue specifically with the registration of teachers in the union, where you don't know whether you are a member. And it is in the prerogative of the executive secretary to make you a member. When it is like that, it is very dangerous. Because if the executive secretary decides that for one reason or the other, for instance, you are not going to vote, you are expunged from the register. So, do you have time to go to Marimanti or Kiagangoro or Chuka office and check your register? That's why you need a platform where you just key in and your registration status is there.
It doesn't even need to be a USSD because kama lawyers, you can just check online whether you're registered for that year to be
practice.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's a very important system because
Yeah.
especially towards the elections.
Yeah.
Because on transparency and credibility, it can work.
Now to answer on this one,
Yeah.
it is very funny. It is an area that is very hot, and people may not touch on it for their own interest. Let me say this. You see, when you have that where you can assess yourself and say, yes, I'm a registered person, there is now the website, for example, where all the happenings, for example, from the national office, teachers may not, you don't need to go to the physical office to know what is happening from the national office.
Correct.
You just get from the website. Are you seeing the difference now?
Yeah.
Now, there is this other thing that I don't know how you may later, because I feel that director here is more inclined to this person. We need, you see, that is also rigging. What I'm calling for now outside the manifesto, what I'm calling for the 2026 elections is two steps.
Two-step
Verification process.
Correct.
2 steps. And I will tell you why. Because it is, again, anchored on what happened in 2017 in the amendments, that draconian amendments. You need first to know that this is a registered TSC teacher. Active registered TSC teacher. That is step number 1. We need that system for our elections. And I want to say this without fear of it, that we are going to ask for that. Do you know why I'm saying this? 2017, they said they amended that section, I think 7, where you can still remain a member of the union even after retirement. You only have to take your dues to the office physically. Of what business do you have with the union when you are a retired teacher? It is a rigging mechanism. That's why I'm saying 2-step verification. 1, are you an active? The one is capital letters, active teacher. So that we go now to the second step.
Are you the register?
Are you in the register? So by the time you come, you have checked through USSD that you're in the register. If you're not in the register, then you raise an alarm.
Yeah.
That nilishamolewa because niko mrengo fulani.
So now I get the point.
Are you getting now the point?
I get the point.
So we need that kind of a system. And I'm not showing off because I'm not intending, when I'm elected, I'm installed in the office, I'm not intending to steal future elections.
Yes.
So I will facilitate those systems. But even before that, I will demand that the current office holders give us that, because it will prevent rigging, at least some fair level ground.
Wow.
Yes.
It's turning out to be a really enlightening and quite hot show.
Eye-opening.
Very eye-opening. I think
Yes.
we'll bring back to the show.
Because by then our shows are not curated in any way, so that's why they are free and they are long. Persevere to watch our show because I think it's quite informative.
Yes.
Yes. Well, she's not even done with the manifesto.
Yes.
You can sit here and talk about the union a whole day, because there is a lot that teachers need to know.
Yeah.
It is not about attacking.
Exactly, it's my point.
Yes.
We're not doing propaganda,
No.
we're not attacking anybody.
Yeah.
It's just getting pure information. I think that's
Yes.
what we teachers require
Yes.
as we gear up to the 2026 elections.
Yes. I think ikifika hapo, Bwana Rithaa,
Yes.
we'll have to call you back
Yes.
Sure.
because
I'll be there.
Well,
maybe.
and before we call him back, Mwalimu, mahali ulipo, watch this, analyze this, put your question on the comment section hapo. Utuambie, Bwana Benson Rithaa akikuja back in the show,
Yes.
what does he need to answer according to what he has told us? What else has he not told us that you would want to hear it? So that hata yeye akikuja atakuwa ameona hiyo comment yako na he will be able to respond promptly.
Yes. Also, give us the questions you want to be asked, because the other aspirants will come to the
Of course,
hot
we are
bench. Hot seat.
we are opening this seat for all the aspirants.
Yeah.
Wherever you are, this is your seat.
Yes.
This is your season. We want you to come here and tell teachers what is it that you want to do for them in the union. KUPPET power! Power!
They have changed it to solidarity.
Yeah, now it's solidarity.
Tukisema hiyo wimbo ya solidarity.
Tutaikataa by the way. Gen Z bana, hakuna mambo ya solidarity. Tuweke kitu iko na sio?
Mapangani.
Sio? Kitu tutafanya naye.
So, Bwana Rithaa,
Yes.
thank you so much.
Asante.
Asante sana.
Always welcome.
Yeah.
Awesome to have you. Manze, you have given us information.
Yeah.
It has been a long show. Thanks a lot for watching the Best Schools TV. Cheers. Tunawapenda.
Asante.
Kabisa.